Okay, let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive focused on just one source. It's a review for a film called Sinners.
Right. And our plan is to really unpack what this review tells us.
Exactly. Understand the key parts of the film, the setting, the characters, and figure out what the reviewer thought was, well, most interesting or important about it.
And that setting jumps out immediately. The film takes place in 1932, down in the Mississippi Delta.
Yeah, and you have to think about that time.
Yeah.
Just 3 years after the crash.
Prohibition's still on. The Klan is a constant presence, a terrifying one. And African Americans, the review mentions, they're working for tokens, not even real money.
Stark phrasing, isn't it? And just widespread poverty. But it's more than just the economics, right? The reviewer paints this picture of the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. They talk about this palpable violence in the air, like the electricity crackling. Everyone's slick with sweat and fear.
That really sets a stage, doesn't it? A heavy one.
Totally. And it's against that backdrop, that really intense historical moment, that you get this supernatural horror film written and directed by Ryan Coogler.
And the review says music is, fundamental.
Absolutely central. So the main characters are these brothers, Elias and Elijah Moore.
Played by Michael B. Jordan, both of them. They're called the Smokestack Twins.
And they're coming home, back to Mississippi, but they've been away working for Al Capone up in Chicago. So they're not exactly coming back unchanged.
Right. They clearly have some means now because they buy an old mill.
Yeah, planning to open a juke joint. And get this, they're bringing in Irish beer and Italian wine, sort of signaling they're bringing that outside world back with them.
And their cousin provides the music.
That's Sammy, yeah. Played by Miles Caton. He's the blues guitarist and singer, the entertainment.
Okay, so simmering setting, the Sharp brothers returning, the juke joint opening up, and this is where the review says the horror really ignites.
A guy named Remick shows up. Jack O'Connell plays him. He arrives with two friends, asks to come into the juke joint.
And once they're invited in.
Chaos. Just total chaos erupts, according to the reviewer.
And it's tied to the music somehow.
Intrinsically. Yeah, the review makes a point about how juke joint music is seen right from the start. Not just fun, but potentially, the devil's work.
Like it can open doors.
Yeah.
To spirits.
Exactly. Good or bad. And the score itself, by Ludwig Göransson, sounds intense. Described as throbbing, pulsating.
Designed to get under your skin, mirror that whole sweaty, fearful atmosphere we talked about. Sounds like the music's almost a character itself.
It really seems like it. The review says music acts as this bridge between life and death in the film. It has this real visceral power.
They mention specific scenes.
Yeah, where Sammy and another character, Pearline Jamie Lawson plays her, they use the music to whip the crowd into a frenzy.
Wow. And it's a mix of styles, too, right? Southern spirituals, blues.
Raspy blues, yeah. And even gentle Irish laments, surprisingly.
Yep.
But here's a twist the review highlights. Remick, the unsettling character, he uses music, too. It's not just for the good guys. He uses it as a tool to control and agitate the vampires.
Huh. That flips things around a bit. Okay, what about the performances? Michael B. Jordan as the twins.
Sounds like he pulls it off. The review stresses it's not gimmicky, which is, always a risk with dual roles.
Definitely.
Instead, he apparently brings this kind of underlying violence, this danger, even beneath these perfectly tailored suits. You feel their backstory.
The violent father, WWI Chicago.
Exactly. It shaped them. The review calls it a solid performance. Pathos, nuance, real magnetism on screen.
And Miles Caton as Sammy the musician.
Sounds amazing. The reviewer literally says they couldn't take their eyes off him. His speaking voice is like velvet.
Nice description.
And his blues singing is full of soul and wit. He captures that vibe of a younger guy wanting to be like his cousins, but maybe a bit too naive for their world.
Makes sense. And Wunmi Masaku as Annie.
She sounds crucial. She's the one who explains the lore, basically. Haints, vampires, the power of ancestral music. Her knowledge is key to their survival hopes.
Got it. And Haley Steinfeld is in it, too?
It was Gary, yeah. Had love affairs with both brothers, apparently. Adds another layer of complexity, I guess.
And then there's Remick, Jack O'Connell. The description of him sounds chilling.
Oh, totally. Uncanny, unsettling, eyes glowing like red embers.
Whoa.
But the detail that really stood out in the review was his movement. It feels off, like a mechanical doll.
Creepy. Especially when he's singing that song to get in. Pick poor Robin clean.
Exactly. That specific moment is highlighted. It's an image that, sticks with you.
So the vampires themselves, standard rules apply, like needing an invitation.
Yeah, the review mentions they use conventional tropes like that. Having to be invited across the threshold is a big one.
But beyond the rules.
They're fast.
Yeah.
And very, very hungry. Voracious is the word used.
Okay. Formidable threat. But you mentioned something earlier. The review highlights a really interesting angle about how Coogler positions the vampires.
Yes. This is where the review suggests the film gets really thought-provoking, moving beyond just standard horror.
How so?
Remick, the lead vampire, he doesn't just offer eternal life. He pitches his community as offering a better life, specifically for the African Americans in town.
A better life. How?
He promises freedom. Freedom from lynchings, from fighting in wars for a country that treats them like dirt, freedom from false accusations, from being constantly on the run.
So it's not just about immortality. It's about escaping the specific horrors of their reality in 1932 Mississippi.
Precisely. He's offering power, equality, even love within his group. And this vampire society, get this, is drawn together by music and shared memories.
Wow. So it's presented as this dark alternative community, contrasted with the Klan violence outside.
Exactly that. The reviewer finds this incredibly unusual, really compelling. It adds this whole layer of historical allegory to the vampire's story. It's not just monsters, it's a commentary.
That is a powerful framing. So overall, the reviewer liked it.
Overwhelmingly positive, yeah. They called Sinners thrilling, pulsating, violent, and sensual.
High praise.
Definitely. They shout out the score again, Gurinson's work, and just top-notch performances across the board. The bottom line from the review is that this could easily be one of the films of the year.
Okay, so quite an endorsement. We've really dug into this review now, the atmosphere, the characters, this unique angle on the supernatural tied to history.
Yeah, and thinking about what the review emphasizes, that intense setting, the way the vampires are framed, and especially how music works in so many different ways.
It leaves you with something to chew on, doesn't it?
For sure. Like in this world that the film shows, just filled with violence and oppression, how does it explore these two sides of music? You know, music is this potentially dangerous spirit-opening force.
Right, the devil's music idea.
Versus music as the thing that builds community, creates connection, even if that community is led by, well, vampires, creatures of the night.
How does the film navigate that tension? That feels like a really potent question the reviewer leaves you with. Something to really think about.
Yeah.